boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Just been wounded for the first time. And certainly I can tell you that's been the case for me. For example, in my marriage relationship, is that the unhealed wounds, you may think you've gone past them, but then something will happen that touches that wound and you react like you're being tormented all over again for the first time. And time does not automatically heal. Mm-hmm. Time maybe scars it over, time maybe makes it less available to immediate memory. But should something happen to evoke it, it's going to show up in its full painful impact until you do some work to heal. Time by itself does not heal, not spontaneously, not automatically.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason, the one and only Zoe Williams is in the building. But somebody even more impressive has joined the conversation. I'm so excited to have her. She's a rock star. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a straight up rock star. She's in the building with me right now. One of my own mentors. One of my own heroes. Shero, by the way. Woo, Lord, Dr. Jashana Johnson done walked in this place. Lord have mercy.
I'm here.
Hey, I had to bring in a heavy hitter to deal with tonight's topic. Now, we all know these topics are conversational, right? They're just conversation for people to really dig into things or aspects about relationships that they might be uncomfortable doing. So we'll do it for them.
Yep.
Right? So you're invited to the conversation. It's not just me and Jashana, but if you'd like to participate, the number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. I want you to join us for a riveting discussion on complementary wounds in romantic relations. That's a thing. Are wounds complement each other? Oh, Lord, we about to get deep. The voice of reason with myself, moi, Zoe Williams. We go live tonight on Tavis Smiley's KBLA Talk 1580. I want you to tune in. on my YouTube stream. Tune in on KBLA's YouTube stream to see us live in action because we are on fire. We're going to be on fire. You can't miss this tonight. This is going to be an amazing conversation. Question. Do you ever wonder why we're attracted to our romantic companion? Is it just physical or is it more? Huh? I mean, of all the individuals in the world, what made the synergy or connection in your relationship work in the beginning? And why does that shift and become so challenging as the relationship progresses? True or false? We are drawn to those that give us the best chance of healing our past generational, childhood, and or past relationship, emotional wounds and trauma. Is this true? I don't know. We are attracting the medicine? Oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Have mercy on us all. Agree or disagree? I would even be so bold as to say that dynamics occur in every single relationship to some degree and is only mitigated by the couple's strengths of presence, coping mechanisms, and ability to recover. And if you know that's coming for you, then you can be prepared to use this amazing information such perspective can bring. Now, I don't know. If I know it's coming, do I still go into it? Should I still go in? If I know it's coming, should I be like, well, let me go and get this download, 1-800-920-1580, get to your phone lines. How do you heal a wound in a relationship? For me, I'm just going to be honest. My experience is it's impossible. I have yet to see somebody actually heal from a wound. I ain't seen it.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, my God, we got to talk about it. We got to talk. I have not seen it. Can you explain to me, doctor, exactly what is a complementary wound?
So let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
I teach couples therapy, and one of the theories is called imago, meaning image. And we do these exercises and when I'm teaching the students, but I also do this with couples in my practice, where they go through these series of exercises of looking at their childhood, the characteristics of their parents or caregivers, some of the repeated frustrations that they had, how they responded, and then some of the joys that they've had, childhood positive memories, and how they responded. When we then translate that, after they have listed all of this, they end up seeing that they have picked a partner that is very familiar to what their childhood was. And you asked a question about whether or not are we attracted just by physical. I say no. I don't even know that it's really physical that we're attracted to as much as our nervous systems are attracted to other people.
Keep going.
And what happens is we get with people who tend to have the same wound, but have learned how to deal with it in a different way. So if I'm talking about me and my husband, we've gotten together with the same wound. I deal with it one way, he deals with another way.
Right.
How it's complementary is I can learn from him and he can learn from me. So that's a complementary.
That's what the good relationships do.
Well, that's what. Well, see,
the bad relationships go to war and then they break up.
Yeah.
So the good relationships
or never break up. Just keep at war for 20 years and just be like, we've been married for 40 years, but you've been at war for 39 of them.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. So this reminds me of the great Krishnamurti, my favorite philosopher. He says, thought, right, begins, he says, the trouble begins when thought makes an image. Do you see? So for Krishnamurti, he always thought that psychological knowledge represented the past. And he was like, most people do not know how to process psychological knowledge as it pertains to the past. Using the example that you just gave, your childhood, right? Which means a great majority of people walking around, irrespective of their chronological age, are still children. Because of what happened or what they modeled or what they witnessed, right? So when he says, trouble begins when thought makes an image, for me, I think we also apply this image-making apparatus to our partner.
Absolutely.
Right? And so when that image is damaged or shattered in some way, there is a loss of trust, a loss of faith. You know, there's this fear. Talk to me about that.
Is there a loss of it, or was it
never there?
Never there.
Ooh, if you don't, go ahead.
Like, I don't know that it's ever there. It just confirms what you thought. Like, I think that we do a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies. We get with people that is going to fulfill the prophecy that we already believed about ourselves and about relationships and what we are deserving of.
So instead of saying, and this is just me adding to what you're saying, instead of, I would say different. Instead of not what I thought, instead of confirming what I thought, it's more so confirming what I've always feared.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're telling me right now, wounds are necessary, which is why we're attracted to people with a similar wound. Wounds are like a type of curriculum.
You know that. You already know that.
No, but you're the star. I'm
yeah, but
you.
You already know.
I'm here to set you up.
Our relationships are about finishing a developmental task.
Ooh, come on.
So what we didn't finish in childhood, right? We get with a partner that's gonna give us the same triggers. That's gonna give us the same feelings of what we felt in childhood. It's not that we're looking for it, it's what feels familiar. That's why I said familiarity will make red flags look green. So you don't even see it as a red flag because that's all you know.
But wait, we got to talk like grown-ups. If I'm a grown-up and I understand that I am to be looking for how I show up in relationships, right? Because most people don't look for how they show up in relationships. No. They look in a straight line and they say, you are the person.
You showing up.
How you show up, right? And you are the person that I deem the best equipped to deliver on this particular outcome I want, right? So if people shifted that perspective and said, no, I'm going to look at how I show up for the purpose of keeping this person, for the purpose of healing this relationship, for the purpose of bettering this relationship. I had a full-blown conversation with a sister in the lounge yesterday. Me and another sister were tag teaming her. She had a little something to drink. But she was venting about her father. And then her husband joined the conversation. And I was telling her, your resentment towards your father is unwarranted. And she was like, no, I get to feel this way. I said, yes, you get to feel that way. But please understand, the way you feel about your father is making you sick. I said, God gave you Rick. And Rick gave you everything your father didn't give you. But you're still here ruminating on what your daddy didn't give you, but God still gave you what you needed in Rick. Did he not? Yes, that's true. And I learned a lot, and I'm better for it. And I said, so why hold the torch against your father?
Because the trauma hasn't been metabolized.
Talk to me.
So a lot of times we can think our way out of trauma, but we can't.
You can't.
You cannot outthink. You can't outwork. You can't outsex. You can't outdance. None of
what can you
trauma.
outdo when it comes to trauma?
Work through it.
And
that's it.
And how do they do it? I have a way. What is yours?
Well, one, just as a psychologist, let me be upfront and honest. Is that now we're seeing that the work that we've been doing all of this time of just talking about trauma is not healing. Right. And trauma can be healed.
Yes.
I do believe that.
Yes.
And I have experienced that for myself. But it means involving the whole body, the mind, and the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Talk therapy has really just looked at cognitive aspects of therapy, of healing, right? And it hasn't been healing. Well, what we know now is that when trauma happens, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your logic brain, the cognitive part of your brain, is actually checked out and offline.
Exactly.
So if it's offline, when you get ready to go to therapy and talk about it, a lot of the things is I don't know, right?
Right.
And you don't know, and you can't make sense out of it because the cognitive brain wasn't there.
Right.
But when you begin to metabolize it and process it through the body, I've been doing somatic work with clients
with the body,
and they have memories and sensations they don't even know that they even had before. Right? And so until you can process it through the body, you're going to continue to be triggered. You're going to continue to hold on to the anger, right? One, it keeps you protected because if I'm mad at my dad, then I don't have to acknowledge even my parts in how I have been destructive in a relationship.
And then the flip side of it was she was talking about how sorry she was for putting her husband through so much because of the unresolved issues with dad.
Yeah. You'll bleed on somebody who didn't even cut you.
Come on. 1-800-920-1580. You already know your wounds are soulmates. Get in here. We want to talk about it. You and your wounds are soulmates. This is crazy. Speaking about the brain activity, like you said, the cognitive brain is turned off, the frontal lobe, right? So what's left is the limbic system and the old brain.
Yep.
Now
the reptilian
brain, right? So the cognitive piece, I call it's a slower brain. It's slower, right? It's not as athletic as the reptilian survival mode brain, right? The older parts of the brain. So this is the part of the brain where deliberation happens. Where consideration happens, where you think things through. So you're slower to act out. I say it's the response brain versus the reactive brain, right? So when that is checked out, you're quicker to react. You're quicker to say things you don't mean. So that means you give voice to your wound. Talk to me.
Well, the thing is that most of us are functioning in reactivity, which means we are walking around not even using our higher brain. We're using the reptilian brain. We're walking around like I don't. This whole match energy. This is about to be an unpopular opinion.
Just give it to us. Just give it to us.
This whole matching energy. I don't match energy. I don't match energy because that means that I have to be more in tune with you than I am with myself.
Right.
And when people tell me that they match energy, I tend to see that as a result of emotional immaturity.
Right.
That they cannot hold on to themselves. So I'm going to act like you act, which means that you're always giving the power to someone else.
Yeah, that's like boxing. You have to lead. Don't be. They always tell the boxer, be first. Be first. Punch first. Don't let them punch first.
That's the reptilian brain.
Exactly. Oh my God, we on fire tonight. we come forward. Me and Dr. Jashana Johnson are going to continue cooking about you and your wound mates.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
On a Mission Youth Travel presents the 2023 Morehouse Homecoming HBCU College Tour, October 25th through October 29th in Atlanta, Georgia. Open to high school students grades 9 through 12. For more information, please call 323-298-4779. Again, 323-298-4779. Students will tour Morehouse College, Spelman College, Clark Atlanta University, Alabama State, and Tuskegee University. Email info@onamissionyouthtravel.com. Again, info@onamissionyouthtravel.com. The HBCU tour price includes all meals, transportation, round-trip airfare with one checked bag, hotel accommodations, all museums, college tours, and admission to the Morehouse versus Kentucky State University homecoming football game. Spaces are filling up quickly, so call today to sign up. 323-298-4779. Again, 323-298-4779.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to three key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
1455 Frazee Road, Suite 1050, San Diego, California, 92108. CordellCordell.com.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
Don't miss the final days of end-of-season deals during the truckload event at Lowe's. Right now, save on major appliances and get an additional 10% off in-store clearance appliances. Plus, take up to 25% off select storage totes like the Project Source Commander tote, just $11.98, was $15.98. Find big savings now. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/9. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
She's so smooth, I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Core wounds are primal. They are the psychological injuries we incurred early in our lives. You can sort of think of them as broken bones that never healed right. And when pressure is put on them, they hurt. They don't work as well as we'd like them to. Core wounds can be a byproduct of early trauma, abandonment, bullying, neglect, inconsistency, invalidation, gaslighting, or abuse. They are the places in our psyche that still hurt, and that may always hurt. Core wounds can be a whole host of things like feeling not good enough, feeling not ever chosen, feeling helplessness secondary to abuse and trauma, and feeling unsafe in the world. Then there are core wounds secondary to discrimination, or not being seen or heard, or abandonment and rejection-oriented wounds, or not being noticed, or the pain of your scapegoatedness, wounds around being blamed for things that other people did. These core wounds are deep, and they get triggered by experiences in our adult lives. It can be difficult to discern core wounds from core fears, and they do often overlap, and you'll see that when you listen to the Core Fears video. For example, you may be interviewing for competitive jobs and not having much luck because they're competitive, and you keep getting rejection letters. Now, obviously, that doesn't feel good, but you're sliding into something in this process that looks almost and feels more like depression. All these core wounds are getting activated around not being good enough. The chronic rejection can turn a difficult experience, getting this competitive job, into a full-blown psychological crisis. Even you would be surprised at your own disproportionate nature of your own response. You knew intellectually it was going to be difficult to get a job in this way, but the rejections literally feel like the air being sucked out of your lungs, and you're kind of mad at yourself, like, why am I feeling like this? And that is the lesson to remember about the core wounds. They defy intellect. Our thinking brains may recognize our distortion and our strong reactions, but core wound activation is something we feel physically. I have had people talk about how they feel when their core wounds are hit, and they describe all kinds of reactions, including drowning, panic, air being pulled out of their lungs, their throat constricting, a sense of dizziness. Your body holds those core wounds, and so when they are activated, even though you can talk your way through, you can say things to yourself like, oh, come on, less than 2% of applicants are getting hired. Your body still feels awful, and because your body feels awful, your mind can easily follow. Many people will often trivialize their own core wounds. Oh, I should be past this. Come on. I can't keep living in the past. I can't keep blaming my shit on my stuff from my past. This isn't about using the core wound as a cop-out. We all have them. So the best any of us can do is recognize them. Because if we don't acknowledge them, we actually can be shocked by their power and how destabilizing our responses and reactions can be in certain situations. The core wound is a central issue around why people get into narcissistic relationships and get stuck in them and find it hard to heal afterwards.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Georgia police say they'll release a mugshot of former President Trump if he's charged there for election crimes. The Democratic District Attorney in Fulton County has strongly hinted Trump will be indicted soon over alleged election interference. Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labatt promised reporters he'll provide them with a mugshot if Trump is arrested and arraigned. It marks the first time Trump would be forced to take a mugshot in any of his pending cases. Meantime, in Washington, D.C., Trump has pleaded not guilty to criminal charges connected to his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. He appeared in federal court today in Washington, D.C. And in Florida, a man is in custody after his wife's remains were found in 3 suitcases floating in a South Florida waterway. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the accident guys to speak with a real expert attorney for a free consultation.
and boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Need help with the job hunt? It can be challenging, but don't worry. LA County has your back. With a variety of available support services, you'll get the help you need while finding a job. We're here to help you succeed. Let's get started. Find out if you qualify at recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. That's recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. LA County and you, moving forward together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA. Congratulations to the dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Proto-Stiff. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't back down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build and inform and engage electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the voice of reason with Joe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
wanna take you home. So rare that I'm here, don't plan on staying too long. So you should come here, sit up on the stone. This is special affair, better act like you know who I am. Who I am. I bet this is wrong. Make you feel like that comfortable. Tryna act nice, girl, you're coming home. But you already knew that. You already knew that. You already knew that.
However, over time, they began to realize everyone who has been in a traumatic experience does not necessarily mean that every person will have post-traumatic stress disorder. And with the advances in research, neuroscience, looking at the biology, the physiology, the brain functioning, what is going on in the brain, and very much the nervous system in the body, they started to move away from, it's still important, but it's not the defining factor to look at an instant. You don't have to prove that something happened to you to have symptoms and experiences of trauma looping in your nervous system and activated in your brain and creating this hormonal cocktail that is producing trauma symptoms or trauma-like symptoms. So we move away from an incident and instead we're focusing on the person's brain and nervous system and their ability to integrate and their ability to manage the flood of the overwhelm, the hormonal cocktail that gets stirred up, the intense anxiety and this feeling of being bombarded with something that I cannot manage, I cannot handle this. And if the nervous system is not able to process the intensity of that overwhelm and all of the physiological functioning that's going on in the body, the raised heart rate, the breathing, there's a whole series of things going on that are activating this fight, flight, or freeze response. And that if we are not able to integrate, both in the moment and afterwards, our body's not able to come back into equilibrium, the body...
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason is on fire tonight. You didn't know that our wounds are soulmates. Our wounds are a part of the same soul tribe. They recognize each other. They like each other. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's toxic, our wounds are like, hey, boo. We on fire tonight. Joining me in tonight's discussion, none other than legendary. You know I got to big you up. Legendary Dr. Jashana Johnson is in the building.
I'm so happy to be here, though.
I'm happy you're here, too. Shoot. In the realm of human connections, the concept of complementary wounds brings forth a profound inquiry into the intricate tapestry of intimate relationships. At its core, complementary wounds refer to the unique emotional imprints born by individuals seeking solace and healing through the recognition and resonance of their counterparts' woundedness. Seeking solace and listen, the wound is the curriculum. You've heard me say this, the relationship dismount. Relationship is a highly reflective classroom where the biofeedback you get from your partner is your personal curriculum. That is the seminal phrase in the relationship dismount. What I want to drill down on here is people's unwillingness to use this curriculum to deconstruct and reconstruct themselves in this mutual dance with their partner so that they don't have to throw somebody else away. Because I feel like breaking up with somebody is easier than doing the work. You understand? To me, people breaking up with someone is most people's preferred conflict management tool. Talk to me.
And I will go a step further that even couples therapy really highlights that too. They teach people how to. I don't. But
I don't.
I don't. Let me be clear.
Just in case.
They will teach people how to compromise out of their growth.
No, we don't want to do that.
I know.
No, we don't. Listen, there's an opportunity here.
I know.
If our wounds are compatible, could our spirits be too? Could the wounds be obfuscating the view of our spirits?
Absolutely.
Can you talk to me?
So when we, I don't tend to think communication is the problem. I don't tend to think like our problems are the problem. It's actually our growth that is the problem.
Somebody in trouble. Our growth is the problem. We've villainized our growth.
That's the problem. It's actually when people begin to want to grow. Like, it's okay for one person to grow. We don't want our partner to grow. Because if our partner begins to grow, then maybe their options change, and maybe you're not one of the options, and you'll see things different, and maybe you won't tolerate things the same way that you used to. I come from a training of differentiation, right? I was talking to a couple the other day, day before yesterday, and she happened to be a nurse, and she does these adult temper tantrums where she wants, her partner to really soothe her a lot and things like that. And so when I talked to her, I said, do you know that? I said, you're a nurse, right? She said, yeah. I said, you know the concept of differentiation? And she said, yeah, kind of. And I said, what's the purpose of differentiation? The cells have to split, right? Because if the cells don't split and one cell becomes sick and then the other cells become sick, if they don't split off and reproduce in a healthier way, then our survival is slim to none, right? And so that's biology. But when you apply that to relationships, if she is angry or upset and she wants him to be angry or upset as well, he doesn't know what belongs to him and he doesn't know what belongs to her. And so what happens is when he now begins to grow and say, hey, I can't keep propping you up in this relationship. I need to work on me, and I need to do that, and I'm willing to stay in this relationship, and I'm willing to do my work. But you got to stand on your own 2 feet. Like, that is what becomes the problem.
You're 100% correct, and I'm seeing it in so many different ways here. Sometimes people just don't have the tools to be able to support the supporter.
This is true,
right? I'm propping you up, and I got your back. But you got to understand that the well from which I'm drawing from is not an infinite well.
The other thing, too, is that it's not just the person. The lesson is not just, I'm not going to prop you up no more. The person needs to stand on their own 2 feet. You also have to ask the question, what makes me feel like I'm responsible for propping you up? Right? So what is it about you that needs to be in a relationship that have to prop people up?
Would you speak on it, please?
And so it's not. So in the work that I do, I never teach compromise because a lot of times we're in relationships that are compromising us.
That's why I always say, yes, compromise is good for a relationship up until the point you begin to compromise yourself.
Yeah, if it's at the expense of you, then you have to ask, what am I doing here?
Listen, my brother Sean is on the line. Listen, when we come forward, I'm going to get my brother Sean on here. Somebody just dropped. Who was that? Was it Nazarene? Nazarene, get back in here, man. We're going to get to everybody. You know this is a national show. We want to hear from everybody. I know you dating a wound right now. I know you're dating a wound. You can't say you're not because I know you. You know why? Because you're a human being and we're all flawed, works in progress. When we come forward, so much more to talk about.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
You're listening to K-Trip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
Take Drip.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take. And when I looked the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan. Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infection. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a non-profit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Gentlemen, the Voice of Reason returns with his playlist. That track is called Bad, or the group is called Bad Band. What is it? Bad what? Wait, say it again. I was gonna look it up. Bad, not good. That's the name. All one word though. Bad, not good. that's the name of that group. Very profound record. We're talking about how wounds are really the true soulmates here. This is heavy. Complementary wounds. Is this a psychological term?
Yes, it's more pop psychology.
Yes and no.
Yeah, but it's well known in imago therapy.
And people use it and understand it.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's work that I do with clients too. And once they understand, like this is my wound, this is how I behave because of my wound, and now this is what is showing like how it's showing up in my current relationship, because they show up. If you don't heal them, they show up. You can't. Yeah.
These complementary wounds may manifest in diverse ways, shaping the dynamics of attraction and interaction between partners. They can become the unseen thread, weaving patterns of behavior, eliciting reactions or responses that echo past experiences. From a psychoanalytic perspective, these wounds may intertwine with attachment styles. Oh my God, you're an onion and your wound is wrapped in it. Lord have mercy, influencing how our partners bond and express vulnerabilities. As we embark on this captivating exploration, we confront essential questions that guide our understanding. How can partners cultivate self-awareness to recognize their complementary wounds, unraveling the layers that intertwine with their connection? What role does empathy play in recognizing and validating each other's woundedness? Nurturing emotional intimacy and trust. People don't know how to do that. People are very spiritually immature. These are high spiritual concepts. Being able to bi-directionally pour into each other while we're both wounded healers. That's a hard thing to do. So many people prefer isolation than actually working through the process, especially if you got to.
But the work is hard. The work is hard, and I think it's important. I think it's important, one, to say that, like, this, we can't pathologize this, right? Like, this isn't something that should be pathologized. This is just human behavior. We experience trauma, whether it's a little T trauma or a big T trauma. We experience trauma, and trauma is not just what happened to you, it's also what didn't happen to you that should have happened.
What was missing?
For you, what was missing,
like
right?
The lady talking about her dad.
Exactly.
Right.
So when you think about that, we are in a fallen world that doesn't allow for us to come here unwounded.
Right.
So we have these wounds, and then we have to work them out, and we work them out in our relationships. And they're really highlighted in our romantic relationships. But these wounds are also being worked out in our relationships with our parents, with our siblings, with our coworkers. If you have a wound, it's not just showing up in your romantic relationship. It's showing up on the job. It's showing up everywhere, but it's highlighted, and we're most triggered by the ones we are romantically involved in.
This is why I should also say we should not pathologize that it's hard work. We should just say it's work that must be done. We should not, because I think what happens is we will hear people say, but it's hard. Marriage is hard. You know what? It might be uncomfortable. Let's normalize being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Is that okay?
Absolutely. So when we talk about, like, when I'm helping clients grow up, because I don't save relationships. I don't.
Come on. Lord have mercy. Did y'all hear her?
I don't. I tell them that on the first day. I was like, I don't have a magic wand. I can't save your relationship.
You got to grow up.
But what I can do is help you grow up. I'm a mastermind at helping you grow up, and you can decide whether or not this is the relationship that you want to be in. But I will tell you that if you're having problems in this relationship, you're probably in the right relationship.
Ooh. I know people don't want to hear that tonight. Can you say it one more time? I know I'm yelling. I'm passionate. Please, say that one more time.
If you're having problems in your relationship, you're probably in the right relationship.
No, we've been taught that it's supposed to be soft and cuddly and Netflixy and
let me know how that works for you.
And Olive Garden-y, and that's what it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to go to Ruth Chris and Nobu and all. But what?
Yeah.
You telling me that if you're having problems in your relationship,
you're in the right relationship.
But I know people don't want to accept that.
Yeah. Well, and that's because they think that their partner needs to change so that they don't have these issues. But when they realize that the problems in the relationship is the reflection of what in the areas in which they need to grow. So I talk about the four top things of your growth, right? Having a solid, flexible sense of self. You got to know who you are first, right? And if you don't know who you are, you're going to you're gonna put the pressure on your partner to tell you who you are. So if you have two people who come together who have a wound of, not knowing who they are, then that's gonna look a particular way. You either gonna be needy or you're gonna need to be needed.
Ooh, keep going.
Right?
Keep going.
And so
that's a mirror, by the way.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the ones who will ever tell me, the ones who tell me, I always end up with needy partners, I'm like, and what is it about you that needs to be needed? Because the needy always hooks up with the one who needs to be needed.
So dismissive, avoidant,
absolutely,
anxious, preoccupied.
Yep.
Come on.
They always get together really trying to unconsciously rectify what didn't happen before. It's a developmental task that they need to.
But see, that's the spirit, that's the consciousness, that's what Carl Jung talked about, the shadow work, all that. Listen, once that stuff starts showing up, the coward and the yellowness of our spine starts to glow, and we start to run. Because people do not want to do this work.
And I encourage people to tolerate the discomfort for growth.
Okay.
If you can sit in that discomfort to grow, you won't compromise out of it.
No, but I want to sit and watch cartoons.
Go ahead.
I want to sit and watch my favorite TV show.
Let me know how that works out.
I just need space and time away from everything, so I'm not touched by anything.
But see, and a lot of people feel like that. A lot of people feel like that. They may come to therapy and they don't want to do the work, and they may not come to therapy. But the one thing that I know for sure is that if it's not working for you, you have a lot of control for it to change. All it takes is one person. It don't take two. It's a tango. It's a dance. If I've learned a step with you, right, and I move back and you move forward, if I decide not to move back, and I change the step, you either step on the toes, and then we learn how to dance differently. But if I no longer do the dance that we used to do, it's going to change the dynamics of the relationship. You just have to make a commitment to your own growth.
If you want your relationship to grow, you got to learn new dance steps every few months.
Absolutely.
We can't do the same dance now.
No.
We need to learn some new dances.
Yeah, y'all still trying to learn Tamia's dance. We done moved on to a new one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Voice of Reason. I'm live on KBLA Talk 1580. When I tell you this show is absolutely bonkers, we're talking about how our wounds are the true soulmates. There is a concept out there called complementary wounds, and we're breaking this down. We're talking about how our nervous systems are attracted to each other. We're talking about how wounds are, and the pain of it is stored in the body. And, oh, man, this is very, very heavy stuff. When we come forward, the callers get to have their say.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Georgia police say they'll release a mugshot of former President Trump if he's charged there for election crimes. The